you're welcome. Hit 'em.
Oh, getting the mics fixed. Okay. Cold shower was horrible, so we picked up where we left off. It still sucks.
Still sucks.
Yeah, so that was fun. That's going to be fun. I'll be glad when day 30's here.
Does it seem like, 30 days just seems like short.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like-
honestly, having done like a majority of the stuff today, because I tried to really front load it, it is a lot. It is
a lot
going
of
to feel
stuff.
good when 30 days is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I didn't, with the check marks, I'm like, oof. Like, there's still quite a bit left for me to do.
Like you said, technically you're only adding 3 tasks.
Right.
But you have the visualization, which everybody goes, oh, it's only 10 minutes. But
Mhm.
find 10 minutes in your
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just got off work.
Mm-hmm.
Try to find 10 minutes in my day where I can just stop.
You haven't done that one yet.
Well, if you start wandering off in that thought, you have to restart.
Yeah.
Like, if he uses the terminology, if you're sitting there doing a visualization and all of a sudden you start thinking about, a friend or, something else that's going on, you need
Better
to
visualize that friend really quick.
So how's that work for you then?
It's going to be tough. I'm going to have to, I don't know. I've never taken Adderall, but this might be the time.
I would say, for that AD, that wandering mind, you got to think that's really,
I'm going to have to set an hour in my schedule to get 10 minutes in. So, but no, I think this morning, with 75 hard, I front loaded so much, and then I could be click, 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 and be perfect.
Yeah.
I'm good. And now I was this morning I left the house and I was I only get to check off 2 things. So it was good. But I think with that, for those that are starting 75 hard, today's Monday. So those that started 75 hard Monday or have begun phase 1, I think for us, just kind of to overview what is phase 1.
Yeah.
So someone wants to explain those.
There was a 5-minute cold shower.
Yep, 5-minute cold shower.
Which in turn doesn't necessarily have to be a cold shower. It can be a cold tub
Right.
of sorts.
Cold exposure.
Yeah.
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 There is not a degree of temperature that it has to be. It has
Right.
just to be
Cold.
cold enough for it's uncomfortable for you.
Yes.
Basically bathtub, cold water the entire time.
Yeah.
That's cold enough.
Yeah.
For a lot of other people. If you want to throw ice in it, that's your prerogative. But the 10 minutes of visualizations, prayer, meditation, a lot of that was goals, basically whatever it is you're visualizing yourself to link yourself into something, whether it be 6 months down the road, a year from now, that's where you want to visually see yourself. If you want to get deep in the woods, if there's a house, for me personally, there's a plot of land, and I'm visualizing what that's going to look like.
Nice.
So that's where I'm spending a lot of my time.
Yeah.
In that visualization, because there's steps to that to make this become a reality.
Yeah.
Like he says, I visualize myself out there drinking coffee on that porch. Not being so much of, man, they must be lucky.
Yeah.
Man, Colton's got this, man. Good for wow. But we all can have that.
You've all got the capabilities.
Yeah, we all do. So there was that, and then what was the other one?
You have to add. So
Yeah.
the biggest confusion is, it says 8 critical tasks, and it's not 8 more. It's the 5 original, the diet, the picture, the reading, the water, and
Workouts.
the workouts. But then you just add 3 more on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So mine, I'm just saying we're working on a project. We're dedicating time for that. I'm gonna do 50 extra push-ups every night before bed, and then at least 1 journal entry a day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just 3 additional things that you can do. I've seen some where people are I'm gonna make 10 cold calls today at work. Perfect. Like that. Not only is that gonna benefit you now, but you're also you'll get those external things later on with those cold calls. So
Yeah, I think what you're saying with that, the best way to understand it is you're doing everything from 75 hard. You're adding 10 minutes of dedicated visualization, a 5-minute cold shower, and adding 3 tasks to the power list. So you're already doing 5.
Yep.
And so now you're adding 3. And so he says it this way. Add 3 tasks to the power list. The power list is 5 daily critical tasks for moving your life forward. That's from 75 hard. Now, you add 3. If you complete them, you win the day. If you win enough days in the week, you win the week. If you win enough weeks and months, then you win the year. Win the years and you win your life. And so he goes on to talk about, like, he gives examples. A college student could pull from this list on any day. Read 2 chapters of a book. Go to all of your classes. Watch a documentary. Listen to a self-development podcast. A business owner could say, call 15 new leads. Bring my team together for a meeting about our company values. After 6 p.m., turn off my phone and throw the football with my son. Like, they don't have to be the same every day, but you have to pick 3 things each day that you're going to get done. And so I think for us, like, we have some guiding ones that we kind of threw out there. And so kind of they may change on a day-to-day basis, but we have some that we're like, these are going to be the core ones on days we don't have something to add. So for me, the 3 that I added was 10 minutes of journaling, 10 minutes of book writing, and then either 100 curls or 10 minutes of lunges every day. So those are like ones I can fall back to if I don't have a power list for the day. Like if I'm like, these are the 3 that I'm going to put on my power list. What are your 3 that you're adding?
Well, the project,
Yep.
Getting the words down, just kind of working on those throughout the course. Because that's going to be probably a difficult thing for me to, again, it's like the visualization part. I've got to calm myself down to get pen to paper. And so that's going to be a challenging task. But then also, I'm going to do 4 sets of 15 of just body squats, 4 sets of 1-minute planks. And then the third one, actually, with our son, we're just going to work on letters and sounds. Just because for that, his self-development, 'cause that's one thing, he's 5. But like with school, they've just kind of, some of the feedback we get from them is he just doesn't seem to know. I think he does, but he just hasn't really been pushed and challenged. So I figured 30 days of just him and his self-improvement on some of that. Now, will that be every day? I mean, the plan is yes, but I also know I'm not going to like overwhelm him either.
Right.
So with the other kids, I'm going to try to stick to a family type thing to do with either the wife or the 3 kids.
Well, yeah. Best thing about these 3 is that, so we have the 5 that we do. They're bettering ourselves, but these are 3 things that can better yourself outside of this program. So like your visualization and whatever. So you can do something in these 3 tasks that can build towards what your visualize.
Yeah.
Visualize.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Visualize.
But that's the best thing about them. Like you said, they can switch from day to day or whatever. But these are 3 things that you want to do that can help you down the road. Process.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, because we think about that, we never, because it's a process and a plan. To allow we see we all visualize everything.
Yeah.
But we never how to know how to put the plan into action. And so this gives you a chance to like really gravitate towards, okay, this is the steps I need to do to make this thing become, a reality or fruition.
Well, and I think too with it, like how many times in our lives have you made this is my to-do list, and then you get to the end of the day and you're like, well, I'll have to put that on tomorrow. Yep. Now that to-do list is
mandatory.
It's either starting over or continuing the next day. So it adds that, I think it's good that that's there. Then you're doing that. So
yeah, it adds that urgency to it.
Yeah. So what are your 3?
Project, journaling, and then 50 extra push-ups.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. It's always fun when the little one's around because he'll either jump on my back, add the weight, or he'll get down next to me and do his push-ups.
Nice. I love it. So to kind of rewind a second. Yeah, that's right. Rewind. How was the Easter weekend with the family not being on 75 Hard?
You want to tell them about your
radio? Oh yeah, talk about what you
So Thursday afternoon, I was at work and I just felt like there was something extra that I needed to do. So then we went to service Thursday night, and the more that your dad was up there talking and listening to everything, like Kelsey and I went to dinner afterwards. We went and ate Mexican, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to fast until Sunday. She goes, why? And I said, well, for everything that Jesus has done for us and, the sacrifice that he made, me sacrificing food for 2.5 days is nothing, really. So I at 8 o'clock Thursday night, and then I fasted all the way until 5 o'clock last night.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, because Adam and I did not fast.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We did the opposite.
Yeah, I literally had 2.5 pounds of macaroni and cheese yesterday.
Man.
And I'm feeling it. I thought it was,
How much did you gain on the scale?
I gained from the morning until that last night. I think I gained 6.5 pounds.
Wow.
Granted, I had some clothes on, but man, I was feeling it too. I'm like, I'm gonna hop on the scale on this one because I feel big.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I did not hop on the scale. I'll weigh on Friday because got like the go to mom's house, got an Easter basket. She's like, I know you're starting on Monday. She's like, I put some beef jerky in there, Starbucks gift card, but like I thought you might want this like bag of M&Ms. It wasn't like this. It was like the big bag. Yeah, I was like, oh boy, these gotta be gone.
Yeah.
So I think I just walked around with peanut M&Ms in my mouth like sunflower seeds for like 2 hours. It was awesome.
We got to grandma's last night. She had homemade chocolate chip cookies.
Boom.
Probably had 5 of them before dinner.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, it's in that, like, I think it's okay to have a little dysfunction with all the discipline.
Yep.
But man, does it make it sweet when like you come back to like ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, and here we go, and we're pressing into phase 1. And has anyone made it through phase 1 here?
Mm-hmm.
You made it through phase 1? Oh, okay.
I got 10
all right.
days.
I did last year.
Okay.
30 days?
Yep.
All right, here's your gold star, you loser. You make it through phase 2?
Yeah. Phase 2 is easy.
Did you make it through phase 3?
No.
All right, good. Then that's when we will all tie with Vince.
No.
I love it. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
10 days, phase 1. That was as far as I got.
Nice. So yeah, I don't even think I think I made it 1 day on phase 1 and then the cold shower.
Is that what? I mean, is that ultimately your?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you listened to the podcast?
Well, I'm just saying. I didn't know if you ever got used to it or not.
No.
Okay.
I didn't give myself enough time.
Yeah.
No, that's good though. I hope everybody had a good Easter weekend with family and friends around. But yeah, ready to hit the ground running here and see what we need. So, I guess having gone through 75 days of the 75 hard, what are some things that you guys are hoping to pull from this next 30 days?
I mean, honestly, I really want to commit myself more to the weight training part because that's something I haven't been able. And I figure with the 30 extra day, I mean, that seems a little bit more practical for me to be able to handle that. Just because of, again, like you said, if you're front loading this stuff, I can incorporate that a little bit easier. Just planning, the weights into my day. And then just as far as lessons learned, when I sent out that reel there on Instagram about just putting the weakness part of what I know I struggle with, putting that first, just because whenever you get that, you do the hardest part first, it just makes everything the rest of your day seem to be a little bit easier. So I know with some of the ones that are getting to embark on the 75 hard, I would really recommend that just because it kind of helps pick your day in a more of a positive direction, knowing that you're not middle of your day like, man, I still got to do this, and this, So yeah, just whatever you feel like you're weakest in, just hit that one first.
Yeah, good.
Takeaways. So the push-ups it's more just it'll build on other things in the gym.
Right.
So that's just me. But then like the journaling,
Mm-hmm.
I did it last year when I did this. I did it too, and that's just something I want to stick with more. Because when I found like if I'm having a crap day, instead of burdening my wife with all of that, I can just write it down or type it out or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's still expressing it and it's getting it out of me. So that makes our relationship better because I'm not like constantly coming home and with complaints to her and then she's having to wear that weight and whatever. So I've actually asked her if she would, let's just try it. It's 30 days.
Yeah.
Like and again, you don't have to get a pen and paper. There's apps on your phone or whatever. Just try it and see what we can do. And so I don't know. We'll see if she does or not. But that and then just, with the project that we're working on, again, growth with this and everything else and seeing what we can do. That's my big thing with it. But yeah, like you said, the phrase you guys keep using is, what is it? with planning.
Oh, forward thinking,
Forward
backwards
think,
planning.
yeah, like it makes it, like, especially now with phase one, you got to do
Yeah,
a
you do.
lot of planning on what to get these. I mean, again, it's just 3 extra little tasks, but
Man.
it's time.
Yep.
You've only got 24 hours in a day, and if you're working 8-10 hours a day, well, you know that time's taken up, and then you got to get to bed.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have, so that's time. Yeah, get your workouts in. That, I mean, you got to find that 10 minutes to sit and.
Still husband first, dad second,
Mm-hmm.
and then all these things that we're together, the purpose that we're feeling to be led to, where we're wanting to go. I mean, obviously this is super important for us, but
Yes.
Because we're taking them with us along this journey as
Yep.
well. And they're seeing a lot of progression in all what we're doing, even the little ones.
Yep.
You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
And so with Ramey and Kelsey, even they're going to start the 75 hard.
Yeah.
And so
They're rolling today.
it's something that's lit a fire in them.
Yeah.
So it's the action. It's it's you're Kelsey doing the cold plunges.
Yep.
So it's like there's these little wins that they've seen in us and as leaders and men that which is kind of the whole purpose behind what we're trying to do, along with the listeners that have made a lot of great positive comments, except for
Yes, definitely.
the others.
Hey, yeah, we'll get to that.
But you know what I'm saying though. I'm just
Yeah.
saying like it's starting to slowly evolve into something
Right.
that it's like you're feeling you're getting excited.
Yeah, that fire that starts out as a match, it's just
Yeah.
slowly building and
Stoke
building.
that
Just
fire.
keep blowing on it,
Yeah.
and
Stoke it. That's right. Yeah, I love it. And I think too, like, I think the next 30 days, like for us and for myself, like just continuing to grow, like in finding new areas where, like Adam talked about, where I have a weakness that I can strengthen. Like, and then Vince, you touched on like the project. Like I did mine today, and I just stared at a blank screen for like 10 minutes, and then I was like, that doesn't count. Okay, I got to write something
Yeah.
down, because I was like, I don't even know where to start. So I think that getting uncomfortable, forcing myself to be uncomfortable is going to be really good. But I think one of the biggest things that we saw from the first round of 75 Hard this year was not the podcast, but the amount of people that now that we're doing phase one have been like, I'm going to do 75 Hard. People that I thought would never do 75 Hard.
Yep.
And, there's a good chance that they don't make it.
Mhm.
Like, that's the reality. But it's them choosing to do it. If they make it 10 days, they're going to find something out about themselves. They make it 40, and if they complete it, even more power to them because their
absolutely.
life will be changed.
Absolutely.
So, like, shout out
100%.
shout out Kelsey, Ramey, Casey, Lacey, Caden, Cody from the gym, Cody on
Minnesota.
Facebook, Austin on Facebook, your cousin Chuck.
Yep.
I don't think he's doing it.
Oh.
Who
Cousin's
else?
brother Matt, they're supposed to start it next weekend.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like, we just named 12 people that are going to
embarking
benefit
on
from this.
something.
And it has nothing to do with the podcast or the challenge or the program, but about them deliberately choosing to better themselves. So if you're listening and you're struggling on day 37, like, make it to tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yep.
Make it to the next day. And if you're starting off, like, make it through these 10 days, and then you got to start, the excitement dwindles,
Yep.
and then you got to start putting in the work. But yeah, I think that's just so cool to see people challenging themselves in a way that's going to force them to be uncomfortable and force them to prioritize time and force them to look within themselves. Because it's a challenge. Like,
Yes.
and I think people get mad on Facebook when you call it a challenge because it's a program. Like, but shout out to all the people on Facebook in all these Live Hard groups and 75 Hard groups. Like, if you're going to go around and nitpick everybody's things, like, if they're completing the task, encourage them.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
like, help hold them accountable and do that, but don't sit there and say, like, that doesn't count. Like, oh, you're in Arizona and the cold water is not cold enough, so you don't get to start phase one till winter. Like, okay, sorry, I can't control where I live. But yeah, and then that side of it, like,
you adapt and overcome for one,
Yes.
and then two, like, you're in control of you.
Yes.
And so when you do this, that's what you get back. You get the control back because you're so much, to all the haters out there, they're just wanting to pull that control back to them.
Hey,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Hey, They hate us because they ain't us. But no, I think too, like that's how you know. In this is petty, but you know you're doing things and you're having growth and you're striving for success when you have haters. We talked about it on podcast before, like in college. So to the guy that was hating on our post about phase one because it wasn't the app, it was like, well, that was from Andy's Instagram story way back in the day. So I was giving him his flowers, which was funny. And then to the guy that was like, you need a new graphic designer, homie. This is just us with we're sitting in a studio, like we can't hire a graphic designer. You're welcome to hit my Venmo, and we'll get somebody hired.
Cash out.
But we're doing it with what we got, and so we're learning and we're growing. But I think people that push back and say things like that's part of the game, and I love it. Like when somebody sends something, I just go like, whether they like this might be something that's also wrong with me in my brain. But, like, when people comment stuff or say things like that, I just go, like, full Michael Jordan. Like, I think the worst thing, like, this is horrible. Our word of the day is kindness, but I think, like, they're officially out to get, like, I'm like, this guy hates, like, this guy wants to, like, take what I have.
Just one more receipt.
Well, that's what Andy says. He takes that and uses it.
Yeah.
You know, some people tell you, don't listen to the haters, don't listen. He's like, oh, no.
Eat it
listen
up.
to them.
Yeah.
Use it, and then when you hit that level,
then
you go, here's my receipt.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. So,
show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. I guarantee you, people don't have much in their corner.
And those that are out
show
here
your bank account,
hating on every little thing. A Kindle is not a real book, so it doesn't count. I want to see what they're doing every single day. Are you out doing intentional workouts outside? You know, are you?
Because I saw a 16-year-old kid on the track today.
Yeah.
I see two moms walking every morning at about 4:30, 4:45 on my way to work every single morning. So it's like, I ain't going to say a word to these people. I don't care what his running form looks like. I don't care how they're walking or what pace they're walking. Because you know what? They're doing it. Yeah. And that's more than I can say about any other person at that particular time. No one else is out there except for the three of us, four of us, and him. Yeah. It's like, shout out you guys.
Very few.
Yeah. And truly, probably we're getting all worked up over, like, Russian bots that are
That's what I say. I mean, that's why the graphic designer, I'm like, I just cheat on it, and then I just spit it out. I'm like, dude, like, you want to come on and give us some free ads for whatever graphic design, I'm happy for you to come on, and we'll talk. But, like, we all have jobs. We all have lives. We're all trying to better everyone else along with ourselves. I don't need your hate.
No ads here, but if he wants to support us, we'll be more than happy to put an ad in here for him.
Put your name down in the bottom right-hand corner.
That's so funny. I love it. So, I think at the end of the day, like, no matter what it is, like, there's nothing special about us.
Not one thing.
And I think, like, for all those people out there that are like, well, I can't do this or I can't do that, whether it's a business, a promotion, a weight loss goal, whatever it is, repairing your marriage, like having a new relationship with your kids, like it just takes work and putting in the time and doing the things and being intentional. And so I think that's why this program is so good, because it forces you to be intentional.
So I found this today and I posted it on my story. Life is not a game of luck. If you want to win, work hard.
I love that. Reminds me of the luck is the last dying wish of those that believe winning can happen on accident.
Yeah.
Love it. It's awesome.
Yeah. We're working hard at this. Like, this isn't easy. We're outside of our area of expertise and comfort level and everything else.
On top of timing, work schedules, and just it's not. We're making it happen because we want it to happen, because we're working towards something that we feel could lead us to something a little bit better.
Right. Yep. And the ultimate goal of all of this, guys, is, to see growth within yourself. Not just growth physically, but spiritually, mentally, in your relationships, in the way that your family functions at home, like how that routine, that standard that's withheld. Because, I was working on that project today and kind of asked the question, like, what's your vision for your family? And I don't mean what's your vision for, like, what your kids are going to be or what they're going to do. But, like, what's your vision if you got young kids or kids in school? Like, what's your vision for who your kids are going to be? Not what they're going to do, but what's your vision for what your kids are like when they grow up? And then forward thinking, backwards planning. Like, am I instilling into them the things that I want them to, the type of person I want them to be?
Because ultimately, it's going to come from us. You know, they're sponges. They're not going to say a lot. They're just going to watch a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so whether it's the verbiage you use, kill them with kindness, or whether it's Roosevelt said, speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yep.
Like, those are like values that I live by, like, because they know that if the dad comes in, there's usually something to be paid, and that's like, but they know that.
Yeah.
So discipline is obviously a little bit more of a big deal in our household, but like, I don't want to discipline to the point to where they get rebellious when they get freedom.
Yeah. And so now you're thinking about those things, where sometimes we get so caught up in parenting and being a husband and working, and that, like, it's just like whatever happens today is what I'm going to do. But now we're forcing ourselves to think and be intentional about how am I going to handle this situation, because it's a moment that I may not, like, I remember things from my childhood that probably my parents don't remember, because it was just one of those things. But it was like, ooh, I don't know what moment those are going to stick for Pearson or Asher or Coulter. Like, I don't know when that moment's going to occur when they're like, I remember this. It's like, and I hope it's a good memory.
Yeah.
So, things to think about.
Yeah. I mean, I got Aria. She's my cold plunge accountability partner.
That's ridiculous.
Every night she's like, are we going cold plunge? But one, I think she likes to do it with me, because it gives us some time together, and she really enjoys my facial expressions and me trying to, like, motivate myself to get in that water.
Yeah, and then she comes up to me and asks me if I cold plunge, and now I've got Kelsey and Aria breathing down my neck, giving me a hard time about how terrible I am. I've got a 9-year-old and a wife of my friend being rude to me.
Well, it's your weakness, and we know how you are.
It's fine. I'm not beating Kelsey's time, so it's fine. Our word of the day. Now we can move past that. Word of the day is kindness. Webster's dictionary defines it in they define it very thoroughly. The state of being kind. And he goes on to say this. Kindness is the understanding that material success means nothing without putting it back into the world. Kindness means that you not only want to reach the best of your own potential, but you want to help other people reach theirs too. It means acknowledging to yourself that you treat people with respect, consideration, and you try to leave people in the world better off than when you found them.
It's the golden rule of do unto others as you want those to do unto you.
Exactly.
Plain and simple.
Treat those as how you would want to be treated.
Yeah. And it's hard. I mean, for me, I got a mean streak in me when it comes to things, and it's hard to show utter complete kindness to those that, act a certain way towards you.
Yeah.
And even strangers, acting kind to them. I mean, some people, like, I noticed, like, when we were on our walk in Ohio, everybody we walked in front of, Adam was greeting. How's it going? Good morning, yada, yada. So I kind of taken that, and especially with my job being out in the public, try to greet more people and have small conversations and kind of preparing for phase 3 with those acts of kindness or whatever. So building on that, but it's just little things. It doesn't have to be huge. Just be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you're nice to somebody, then hopefully they'll take it and they'll be nice to somebody. And then it's kind of like that positive energy that you bring in. It's contagious. Unfortunately, so is the other end.
Right. So, yeah. I mean, and I think we've seen that in life. Like, if you're surrounded by someone that's unpleasant and negative and everything sucks, then you begin to sit there and, like, everything sucks.
Yeah.
But if you can be that positive reinforcement, that positive self-talk, like all the words we talked about, this is the first one that I think, like, you can practice it, but it's almost like you really have to be...
You have to apply it.
Yeah.
You have to apply it. Like, you can be a kind person, but are you kind...
How are you? Yeah.
When you're angry? Are you kind when you're emotional? Are you kind when you don't know the person or the person's wronged you? And yeah, I think you said it best, like that golden rule, like do unto others as you would want done to you. But then I think it was what was talked about Thursday night at service, like we're called to a new standard. Like Jesus said, love each other as I have loved you. And so that's even harder.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes I don't love myself very well. But like, I'm not called to love as I love me. I'm called to like love other people as Jesus has loved me. now it's an even higher stand. Now I'm like, well, that's impossible to reach. But if I continue to strive for that and be intentional, it all comes back to being intentional.
Yeah. And
because we're not going to do it on, like, our human bodies and our human nature is not going to do this stuff on accident.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Well, acronym for joy. It's Jesus, others, and you.
Right.
You know, and so like if that's just like how you should order all that stuff. You should put yourself last
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of different scenarios because you should love him first, which in turn is going to have you love others, which is going to have you loving you. Because when you're doing all these, it makes you feel, you know, that same feeling that you've spread that love to others. You know, and so like it's just a cycle that you should try to repeat. But you know, temptations in the world comments will definitely keep you from wanting to find that joy.
He was very kind in his response.
I mean, it was fine. Yeah, I
I
mean,
was pretty kind.
but I mean,
Till the end.
I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, the 24-hour rule. I mean, you know, if you get some sort of, you know, some pushback from anything, you know, I've learned, and it's hard, you just probably should sit on it for about 24 hours. Because one, you don't know what kind of day that person had.
Right.
You never know what they're really necessarily going through, you know, and what day that you had that's going to cause you to maybe think a certain way. So you want to take a step back, reflect a little bit on just like, okay, maybe they were coming from a different place than what I interpreted as. And then when all that kind of just subsides, then maybe have another conversation in a roundabout way, but not where you're going directly back at them the next day. You know, I mean, just you got to come. I always feel like if you come the day later, you're not coming to them as direct. You know, you're coming with a little bit softer heart.
Right. It's not fresh. You're not emotional.
Right.
We've all got our own demons and battles from within.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're coming from one angle with your own thoughts and demons in your head, and then I got mine, and that battle, you know, comes together, it's not going to be pretty.
Right.
So again, yeah, sit on it for a minute and try to realize where maybe they were coming from a nice, you know, area, but my thoughts were dark at the time, and
Well, it's like, and almost to the point of the journaling, you know, when you're putting that stuff to pen to paper, whether it be negative or positive, like you've released some of that.
Yep.
You know, and you haven't held on to it because it's those little nicks that kind of store within that cause that big kaboom later.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, but if you're doing that journaling and whatever your day looked like, man, you've released that back out for the most part, and you know, you feel better.
And it can feel like, I think we all kind of grew up with like the journaling or like, oh, dear diary, like it's such a girly feminine thing to do. But man, it is such I look at journaling as like a tool, because I don't go in with like, oh, I'm going to like recap my day, like, dear diary, today Adam like lifted 315 pounds. It was so cool. Like, it's more like, okay, it's just a bunch of scribble like mess, like obviously with my brain. But like when somebody wrongs you or upsets you or makes you mad, like, whether this is good or not, instead of telling my wife or someone else, like, these are all the things I want to say, like, I just journal it, like, and write it down. Yeah. Here are the responses I'd like to have. Here are the responses that I probably should have, and here's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get some sweet little tidbits out of that, like, when these hands aren't folded in prayer, you can still catch them. And then you like get that out there. Like, I was hot the other day. I wrote that down. I was like, just remember, when these hands aren't folded in prayer, you can catch them. I didn't say that. That was on the list of things not to say.
That's great. That's a good one.
It was good. I was like, just remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Talk softly and carry a big stick.
Yep.
So it's good. But yeah, I think that's kind of the idea. And as we continue to talk about phase 1, like, I think today, this is the start.
Yeah.
And so Thursday will be on 4. Next Monday when we record will have been a weekend. We'll have some more insights. But like, what things are you guys pulling from 75 Hard as you go into this? Like, as you approach this next 30 days?
Phase 1?
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest one is just that focus on everything. I mean, the 5 normal tasks, like, they almost become second nature,
right?
Just because you've done them for 75 days, and then you kind of, like I said, for the most part, we carried that over, just because we didn't have a long break. And even if you, like, on these groups that we're in, you see a lot of people like, well, I haven't done it exactly, but I'm still carrying over, and that's starting, like, so just focus on the 3 more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And those 5, there's almost easy now. Like we
Right.
know what we're doing, we know how to get them done. Those we know how to plan around. It's just focusing on those 3 and pinpointing them.
Yeah, I think we've become, it's not jaded, it's just become routine.
Mhm.
Because like people are like 75 hard this thing, and I'm like, you can totally do it.
Yeah.
Like you can do it. Like I promise.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go back to like the times I failed it, and I'm like, oh, why did I fail? It's like they never became a routine. It never became a habit.
Mm-hmm.
It never became like I wasn't great with time management. And so, like, I think that's just the thing I'm most excited for here is the next challenge of like, man, how am I going to possibly get all this in every day?
Yeah.
So
Mine is just the physical parts there. With this is going to be a mental challenge for me, like straight up with what we got planned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you were you, what am I trying to say here? Like, do you like writing?
I do.
Okay. And
I
are
do.
you so how is that gonna?
Well, there's a difference between writing and being articulate about my thoughts
Yes.
in my writing.
So then in writing this, like this project we're working on, and writing this book, like what are you most, like what is your hesitance? Like in your anxiety around it? Because I can feel it.
Yeah, because it's not having enough time, because I'm going to probably overthink it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to allow myself to really just focus, because I'm going to have, the extra, like the duties of dad and husband,
Yep.
Because I don't want to put that aside. Like that, I don't feel like that should ever that should always be a green light.
Right.
You know, I mean, maybe a phase of some yellow in there on some days, just because of whatever the day might look like. And so, but that is going to be where it's going to be a challenge, man, straight up, like, because it's not anxiously, like I'm excited because I want to see myself persevere through all that, because this is going to be a huge challenge for me.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing that I like to write, helps, and I know how to use words, sometimes not together so well, but it'll be good. I'm excited.
It'll be an editing process.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll give it to Kelsey.
But I
she's really good
still
at that
am
stuff.
like, it's not the time thing. Like with you, like I'm sitting here looking at you, and you're saying, "Well, I'm worried about time and not turning off that." And but if it was like another workout added on,
I guess
you
this
would
would be
find
more.
time
This would
for
be a
it.
failure thing.
Okay.
Like I don't want to fail and let you guys down for one, let myself down too.
Now we're talking.
So like it's because it's. I realize it's kind of like we talked about in some of the things where my wheel turns as well, not to your effect, but I've never just went to Florida. I've never just tried out for The Voice. I've always second guessed myself and allowed myself to just be back here excelling at 75 hard, because physically I can do it.
Right.
But these other things, or mentally, is something where I've never really gone before, especially at an older age. This is a whole new transition of a habit that I've never embarked on.
Yep.
So it's exciting and super scary.
Yeah, I love pressing into
I love the part
fear.
that he said about letting us down.
Yeah.
So when you read Nick's book, he talks about when he was going through the hospital, and like he knew he wasn't gonna let himself down. He knew this is what he was gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day he said he woke up like 3 a.m. in a cold sweat because he realized, I got 12 other guys on my team, and they have wives and they have kids, and what is something I do because I'm trying to be macho and do this impressive thing causes an error, and then one of them doesn't get to come home because of me.
Yeah.
So it really makes you think, like, man, if I don't get 10 minutes in of this, like, if I'm not productive in those 10 minutes, am I letting you two down or whatever?
Well, and it's just like you got 3 of us with wives, with kids, like all this. There's these roots are starting to really solidify, and then where are we going to where we're making this tree grow and these branches, that's just like, so I put pressure on myself. I'll get it, but
Here, I'll add a little more pressure to you, because the other parts of those roots is everybody that's watching.
Oh yeah,
and everybody
I know.
who listens, and everybody else is starting this program because we put it out there. Like,
it's real.
lot.
It's real.
Shout out, I didn't tell Vince this yet, but shout out South Africa, Germany, United Kingdom, like
New listeners?
Yeah,
Yeah,
new listeners in all these places.
Where we at state-wise? We're missing
Like
one.
we're missing 4 states.
Missing
We need
4 states.
Yeah, if you got a friend in Alaska, Idaho,
I
Montana.
do have a friend in
you can-
Alaska.
Yeah,
I
tell
will,
him to
I will
listen.
make sure he knows.
Yeah, that way
Zach,
we can
Rick, you need to
Oh, yeah, Zach,
yeah.
We're just trying to knock off states, so
Yeah.
that's good. But I think like it was fun to hear Adam's side because I could tell from when he came in and I was kind of talking about me doing it, like Adam like kind of went like white.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
So how do you feel about it, like writing and doing that?
Well, I am not good at writing.
Mm.
That's all right.
So it's just more of a challenge for me to, like, I can get quotes and
Mhm.
like chunks in,
Mhm.
but trying to blend it all together to where it makes, you know, a good
Close.
story.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going to struggle. I can come up with stuff and think about like where I've struggled and how to help people in this, but trying to put it pen to paper is the hard part. And then thank God for editing, because I mean there could be like
Grammarly.
all kinds of red ink going here.
Yeah.
This doesn't
Yeah.
mix and
Yeah.
whatever. But then it's also, you got to think like this is us putting ourselves out there
For sure.
on a whole different level.
Whole
Like,
new
we're
level.
already putting ourselves out there doing this.
Yeah, but if nobody watches or nobody, it doesn't matter. There's no like, it's not that big of a deal, I guess. But like, I guess even the book, like I'm not even like that, but like it is like we're putting ourselves out. We're like, we're putting our stories out there. We're putting our art in a sense, like for other people to judge and be like, wow, Vince is like he articulates it really well, and like Adam, wow, what a weird adjective,
Mhm.
like those kind of things. But I'm excited because I like one of the things that after talking with our stories, I was telling Raimi, I'm like, I want to find ways, like they're not old. They keep saying they're old, but like they're 40, like they're 40. Like I want to find ways to get you guys so extremely uncomfortable. Like that is my goal. Is I'm like, how can I make Vince and Adam so uncomfortable? And for Adam, it's not the physical. Like you guys have got that down. So I gotta find these new ways to be like, hey, we're just doing this. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm
But
ready.
we all jump on board.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll
we don't
say,
hesitate.
yeah,
you know.
no, you're not hard to tell to. You guys are doers.
Yeah.
I'm a doer.
I'm a doer. Like,
So
well, and because it's for a greater good.
yes.
Yeah.
You know, and I think even with being in the military, like we understand battles, we understand war. You know, like you're going to lose along the way, but you got to continue to win the battle. You know, it's no different than win 4 days out of the week, win 3 weeks out of the month, 7 months out. Like you're just that's more winning that you're continuing to do.
Yeah, and I think your feelings that like I think you expressed well like around that. Like that's some people's feelings about like
What?
anything.
Yeah.
Going to the
And
gym.
so
Yeah.
going to the gym, like starting a diet, and it's like you have to meet those. Like, what's the worst that can happen?
You start over.
You start over.
Yeah. So for all you out there, I mean, it's just like you said, it can be simple. For some people, the reading's easy, but the workouts are hard.
Yep.
Drinking and eating is easy. The alcohol's easy. It's the working out part. It's just 2 walks.
Yeah.
Like I think it's Tony Haney at the gym. When I went in there, he's like, I just don't know if I got time to do it. I said, what's your day look like?
Yeah.
And I talked to him. I was like, I could probably figure out a way to get you to where you could, but you're going to have to be purposeful and wanting to do it. Because if you go in halfway, you're going to fail, man.
Yeah.
But
shout out my wife. She woke up at 5:30 today because she was like, I'm gonna go to the gym at 6 when you get home, and then I'll get one of my workouts in, and then I'll do the other one at night or at lunch or something. And she's like, but I want to do my Bible study like 5:30 to 6. And then she woke up at 5:30 today, and she was like, I get home and she's all excited because she's knocking a bunch of stuff off. She's like, yep, like I'm gonna have to change that time. She's like, I got to get up at 5, like because by the time I got rolling, I had like 10 minutes. Like once she made her coffee, and she's like, so my alarm's gonna go off at 5. Like I'm gonna go to bed by 9, and like I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like you're like to sleep for 10 and a half
Mhm.
hours,
Yeah.
girl. And so I'm like, dang, this is like I'm already seeing it. I'm like this, and she just did a weight loss challenge at work and won. Shout out Raimi. And so 14.8% body fat change. So that was
Wow,
Dang.
but she was like, I just don't think I'm gonna have like a big physical change. I'm like, oh, you will, but that's not really what it's about. I'm like, you're gonna be a completely different person if you do this.
Randy, stop self-sabotaging yourself.
That's good.
Yes.
It's a good word.
It doesn't matter what you're gonna look like when you're done.
Yeah.
It's all about. It's just about
how you're
getting through the
gonna
days
feel.
and
I
how
wish
you're
you
gonna
could
feel.
take. I wish you could take a picture of your brain every day,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a progress picture of your brain and your mental toughness. I wish there was like a visual thing that you could be like,
I mean,
oh
you
my.
can. You can go get
Yeah,
CT
CT
scan.
scan.
Yeah, give it a CT scan.
Well,
I don't know how it's going to look after 30 days of constant radiation in your head. But
Huberman and Goggins, whenever they started talking about how they're starting to realize that mid-cingulate cortex, and you continue to start doing harder things, that all begins to change. But once this becomes easy, then you got to keep challenging yourself, because they said obviously bigger people with diabetes, it's super small. It's like T size.
Yeah, because they lack the willpower to push things
And just like the idea of thinking that you need 10 hours of sleep, talking to my Kelsey, when she's woken up with me at 3:30 to go to the gym at 4 to be there, she actually feels better.
Yeah.
That's been a 10-year process of getting her to understand, you don't really need 9 hours.
Movement.
Yeah.
Movement.
Yeah. Because you laid around so long, you get those bed sores.
Yeah. An object at rest stays at rest. An object in motion stays in motion. Now, sleep is important, but there's a point of diminishing returns. Mm-hmm. There's a point of just, I'm really comfortable, and I'm just going to stay here. Mm-hmm. So, it's good. Get out of bed.
Yeah.
Wake up. So, it's good. All right. So, I think closing today, what books are we reading for phase 1?
Reading Grit, Power of Persuasion. Or Perseverance, I'm sorry. That's Perseverance.
I am about done with Nick's book, Objective Secure. I'll probably finish it probably this week. And I'll move on to, what was it? Just laying on my nightstand. I look at it every night. I don't remember the name of it.
That's all right. I'm doing Objective Secure right now. I got 3 chapters in, and then was reading other stuff. So now I'll go back to that, and then we can recap that together.
Yeah, because that'll be number 2. I'll read after this one. And
so maybe we'll hold off on that, and we can kind of talk about all that together.
Because it's really good.
Yeah,
the further along you get, man.
Yeah, I've been listening to some of his podcasts only because I like his voice.
Mm-hmm.
If we could
Boston
get one
accent.
Yeah, if we could get one of us to act like we're from Boston, and really
Boston,
talk about that Boston
accent, Pepperidge Farms,
Yeah,
go out to Boston.
Oh my God.
You go to a Sox game, been Green Monster, get ourselves a pint of water, a pint of water, not a pint of beer. Sam Adams here.
Oh my.
Holy kind of guy.
He keeps saying Fada. That's what I'm like. We need to be Fadas do 75 hard.
Fada do 75 hard. Yeah.
Fadas do 75 hard. Well, with that, it's time to go. Yeah. Peace.
It's that first.
Hey, yo, welcome. Hit 'em.